The Speakmans are here to take your phobia phone calls. Let's get straight to the first caller. Nick and Eva, good to have you with us. Let's speak to Sian in South Wales. Hey, Sian.
Hi, all right.
Hello, Sian. What's up?
I got phobia about peas.
Well, OK. Well, let's dig into that. Tell us about your phobia, and maybe Nick and Eva can help.
And if I got peas on a plate, I'll start sweating, the hairs on the back of my neck go up and my stomach starts churning. And if a pea touches anything, like a chip, I can't eat that because it's been contaminated.
That sounds awful.
OK. And have you any idea how this might have started?
I don't know. I've been told that when I was about 4 or 5, I was snoring and my sister stuck some beads up my nose to stop me snoring.
Oh, gosh, well, yeah, that would usually do it, because obviously we're not born with a phobia. What actually happens is that we have some sort of an event, and a phobia by definition is an irrational fear, and that is usually because of something that's happened in your life and your interpretation of it actually at that time. So when your sister put beads in your nose, how old were you?
I was about 4 or 5.
Okay, and I'm guessing that your mum will have been absolutely beside herself because, just the thought of peas, what could that have done to you?
It could have choked me, I could have died, been suffocated.
Absolutely. So, and that there, because you're saying the choking, that is probably the origin of your fear. So you've created what's known as a schema. It's a reference that something that's small and round. And don't forget, this is from a 4-year-old's perspective, that something small and round could potentially choke you, which is why you don't want it on your plate. So the first thing that you need to do is to make sense of that origin. Why did you create this fear? And really challenge it and realise that the problem wasn't actually peas, it was beads. And it wasn't actually beads, the issue was actually your sister. So we need you to kind of consider the fact that you're actually not in danger as long as your sister isn't putting your beads in your nose, which is highly unlikely now that you're an adult, and then look for positive evidence as to why what you believe in isn't true. So, for example, let's say, do you have children?
Yes, I have a son.
Okay, and does your son eat peas?
Yeah, my son and my husband eat peas.
Okay, so what you've got to do is now apply an adult's perspective to that and consider that, you love your son, you'd never want him to come into any danger, and therefore, if peas were a real danger, then you wouldn't allow your son to have it. So it's kind of a two-pronged approach. The first is really challenge that origin. We want to start to change your perspective and kind of take the blame. We always say, see it for what it is and not how it felt to a child. That's the first part. And the second part is loads of evidence as to why what you believe in isn't true. And that should then start to break that phobia down for you.
Thank you.
How does that feel, Sian? Obviously, it's not going to go away overnight, is it? But does that sound like good advice and something you need to start working on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
good luck
with that.
Working on it.
Yeah.
Good
Best
luck.
of luck, Sian. Give peas a chance.
I know, it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's tough.
Give peas a chance.
Let's go to Tracy in Newport. Morning, Tracy.
Morning.
Morning, Tracy.
Tell us about your fear of cats.
Oh, Tracy.
Oh, I'm absolutely terrified.
Why, babes? What's happened to you?
Just over the years, I've had cats jump on me or look like they're going to attack me.
Okay.
Tracy, this goes back, Tracy, to if you're a non-cat person, cats immediately come towards you because they're not threatened by you because you ignore them. Seriously, that's how it works with the cat world. But we've got to go over this because, Tracy, by the end of this call, I want you to have a cat. So, Nick and Eva, over to you.
Yeah. So, Tracy, have you any idea when this started? Or because one thing, there's 4 ways to get a phobia, and one of them can be copying a parent.
Yeah, my dad didn't like them. I remember, 7 or 8 years of age. A cat came into the garden and he was screaming at it to get out to go and leave the garden. He just didn't like them. I don't think he was scared like I am. He just didn't like them, and I presume over the years.
Well, let's consider one. We're not. No one's born with a phobia, but we are born with 2 fears, and that's falling and loud noises. So, if you saw your dad screaming at a cat, then you learn from that situation that that cats are a problem and there's something to be avoided, right? And you create, as Eva mentioned earlier, a schema, which is a learning that I need to avoid them in the future. And then obviously you've gone through your life where you said that cats have jumped on your lap. But the question is, has a cat ever jumped on your lap and attacked you?
It sort of jumped on me and clung to my chest before, and I've had to like fling it off me.
So what you're saying is that it wanted a real tight squeeze and a bit of a cuddle, really, because it wasn't actually attacking you.
Well, I don't know.
This is exactly, yeah. See, the thing is, and what's really interesting is that when we have a learned behaviour from a parent, or you copy a sibling, for example, then your phobia will always be worse
Far more exaggerated
than the person that you copied it from. So when you saw your dad and he was screaming at the cat, he taught you to fear cats. But let me ask you a question. Let's be fair here now. In that moment, you see your dad shouting and at the cat. Who actually scared you?
Yeah, probably my dad, because it made him react. Right. Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly. So again, now seeing it for what it is and not how it was, and now trying to update that schema and seeing it from an adult's perspective, what you now have to realise is really see it for that. It wasn't the cat's fault. See, you've been going around sort of blaming cats for how you should feel and how you felt, when it was actually that your dad that did it, and actually looking at it clearly and how it actually was and accurately will actually help to reduce your fear. That's the first thing to do. And then the second thing to do is to kind of start to desensitize yourself to cats. I don't know if you like dogs, for example, but when if a dog were to jump on you, that is because they want to be friends with you, and it's a kind and a nice thing, and it's no different with cats. You just don't understand them because you've never been around them and never given them chance. And never given them chance. So again, what we want you to do is literally be fair to cats. You know, you don't have to like them immediately, but it's just to be fair and realise in the moment it was actually your dad that frightened you. And had your dad not done that, then you would be absolutely fine with cats. Obviously, your dad didn't do it on purpose. He didn't want to scare you. He just didn't want the cat in his garden. For all we know, he just didn't want the cat sort of maybe making a mess of the garden. And yet you have made the cat the thing that it was the threat, and it actually wasn't. So it's being fair, and then again, positive evidence and slow desensitization to cats and understanding how cats behave, so that you can create a confidence with cats.
How's that, Tracy?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can't even go near a cat, never mind. I'd be terrified, so I don't know how I should go about.
Listen, 5 more minutes with the Speakmans and you'll be on the phone to the cat's protection. Give me all you got.
Yeah, honestly, once you've just got it slowly.
Just start off with one of Dermot's books. That will get you.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
Yeah, you are. Thanks, Tracy.
Good luck.
Let's go quickly to Lynn. Lynn, you've got a fear of graveyards. Tell us about this.
Yeah, I haven't visited my mum and dad's graves for years because I just started hyperventilating and nearly hit the floor. I've had to be carried out before now by my sister. It's just, I just can't walk near, never mind in a graveyard.
Oh, Lynn, you poor thing. Guys, what can we say to Lynn?
Lynn, what happened to cause this?
When I was 18, I went to Teachers Training College, and I went late at night with a friend to watch a horror film, and I had to walk back through the college on my own, and my footsteps were echoing, but it sounded like somebody was behind me. I started walking quicker, so the footsteps went quicker. And then just after that, I walked through a graveyard in the daytime, and an old man minding his own business was walking slowly towards me, and I just went into total panic and ran.
Okay, and what was it in the film? What was it? What kind of film was it? Was there a graveyard involved? Was people in? What was it?
It was zombies, and it was a graveyard, and this man got grabbed by a zombie.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Prior to that, were you all okay with graveyards? So prior to seeing that film?
Yeah, it was fine. I used to go with my mum looking at gravestones, but after all that, I couldn't go around looking at gravestones. She used to like looking at the dates and things, but after that, I couldn't go near them. She used to laugh at me.
Right, so Well, that's perfect, because that's a great starting point. So it's to realise that actually for 18 years of your life, you have lots of evidence about going into graveyards and being completely fine. So the question is, what actually scared you? Was it a graveyard or was it a film? And in this situation, it was actually a film. So what I want you to do is I want you to imagine, and this is anybody, if you've got a phobia, and with the cats as well, and with the peas, what I want you to do is I want you to, first of all, challenge that origin, because it was the film that scared you, not the actual not the actual graveyard. But then I want you to see yourself actually going into a graveyard. Imagine a graveyard, or the peas, or whatever your phobia is, and I need you to do a really big sigh. Do that a few times. What that will actually do, it will start to desensitize you, and it will start to help you to feel calmer. Sighing acts like a psychological resetter. We don't do it enough when we're facing a fear, but that in itself, see what it is you're fearful of, and sigh, and that will help you to feel calmer. But again, tackle that origin. Graveyards had nothing at all to do with this. It was a film, and actually the film director.
Yeah, and let's put it into perspective. It was a horror film. It was meant to scare you. And you know, you've seen this film, you're feeling the fear, and then you're walking home through a graveyard that featured in the film. So you're naturally going to think, oh, what if? What if this was real? But put it into perspective, it was a film.
Yeah, because a phobia is irrational, we've got to start to rationalise those origins and start to provide positive evidence. Often when we're fearful, we're looking for evidence to actually make our fear, you know, to kind of feed that fear. What you've got to do is you've got to change it. So instead of feeding why you should keep that fear, what you need to do is look why you should actually now get rid of it.
Oh, Lynn, I really hope you can sort this out, because you haven't been to your parents' grave for over 20 years. I really hope this sorts itself out. I really do. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good luck, Lynn.
Oh, good luck.
Just a really quick one then
yeah?
from Kayla. This is really quick, guys. Kayla's a fear of people singing "Happy Birthday." Any ideas on that? It's just any advice?
Well, do you know what? That's not uncommon, because when someone sings "Happy Birthday" to you, it creates what's known as a spotlight effect, and you feel like everyone's looking at you, and therefore everyone can be judging you. So again, what she wants to do is look at some point in the past when she's felt everyone's been looking at her and something's gone wrong, because she's replicating that in the future and thinking the same thing's happening again.
Yeah, one of the biggest things we have is a fear of judgment. So let's say, for example, this could even stem back to something that happened at school, for example, where she stood out and then maybe she did something wrong or said something and somebody laughed. Suddenly she creates this kind of a reference that I don't want people to look at me because that makes me feel embarrassed. So this is why we always try and find the origin, because if you can rationalise the fear, it really does help to explain it and to allow you to move on and to let it go.
Nick, Eva, you are amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.